All right. So once again, my name is Chris. Today we are going to go through an introduction to the contact management with your smart CRM. This is specifically for your brokerage, and a couple of the reasons why we decided to go, or Remax chose to go with MaxTech Powered by kvCORE is Remax is the best brokerage in North America, and it is a global brokerage. And of course, we want to make sure that you are set up properly. So one of the reasons we went with the kvCORE platform is that Inside Real Estate, which hosts the kvCORE platform, is the #1 real estate tech platform available. And so we want to give you because you are the best agents, we want to make sure you have the best platform so that you have the best opportunity to grow your business and work and nurture your clientele as well. So some of the things that are involved with this is that it is the next evolution of Remax technology. And we want to make sure that we're giving you the best and keeping you up to speed with everything that the real estate market has to offer. The best part of all of this is that the platform is extremely scalable. So kind of like with the question I asked earlier, depending on whether you're thinking about having a team or you already have a team, this program is scalable to all kinds of teams and gives team leaders all kinds of really neat controls and abilities to share certain things with their team members. So you can scale this completely to your business. And also because they are the #1 tech platform, they have a really good innovation and vision as well for their platform. And they're constantly improving themselves. And that allows us to give you the best of what they have to offer. So a couple of things with the MaxTech Powered by kvCORE platform is that it does give you, if you don't already have websites, it gives you your own website. It is straight out of the box. So if you are not really tech friendly or you're not really tech savvy, you do have a straight out of the box webpage that you can use. And then it's really easy to customize it. Just a couple of clicks, you can change some words. It is foolproof. But then on the other hand, just like with everything being scalable, if you are really tech savvy and you like coding, HTML codes or everything, you can completely do that as well with your websites. It's also got a powerful lead engine. You get a lot of lead generation pages. You have landing pages. You have squeeze pages. If you're not sure what they are, I'll go over that a little bit later as well. But they do provide a lot of lead generation opportunities for you. And then the best part of everything, which is what we're going to focus most of our time on today, is the fact that it has a really smart AI-powered CRM that's available for you to use. With that smart CRM, the more you use it, the more it's going to learn your quirks and your abilities and actually start learning about you and the way you communicate with your clients. And it's actually going to help you a lot. It's essentially a 24-hour day, 7 days a week free assistant that's included in the platform for you. And it's no additional charge for that assistant either. So you're not paying them overtime or anything like that. It completely works for you all times of the day. It's also got a bunch of listing tools and presentations. So Core Present is another really great feature that's included. It has heat maps for how often your clients are looking at certain parts of the web page. So if they're moving their mouse and they're clicking on something, you get all that results and all that data and analytics as well. So it's a great platform. It's also really easy to use. There are preset slides that you can use. It also provides them for you. And then you just need to shuffle the pages if it's not to your liking. You can add manual listings as well. And it works for both listing and buying presentations as well. If there's back office, it does do some back office. Like if you use Dotloop or any other program like that, there are a couple ones that it does integrate with. And then it has that team platform as well. And that's all included with this package that you have with Remax. So for today, we're going to go over a couple of the different benefits for using the smart CRM to help manage your business. We'll also look to explore some key features to help you import, track, and connect. So for the people who haven't, maybe not have uploaded any of their contacts from the other programs or locations, whether it be Gmail, Outlook, or any other program, we can help you import that, or we can show you how to import that as well. And also share some best practices for keeping your contacts organized and making the best use out of that CRM platform. So first, of course, contact management is definitely a crucial element for your business. And it's really important that you keep in contact and you also have the most updated information and the most current ones as well for all of your clients, whether it be phone number, email, or any other contacts. It is really important that you have the most up-to-date contact information. And also by using MaxTech Powered by kvCORE, and if you haven't already started, it's also a really good excuse to reach out to really old clientele or really old contacts. Just, keep yourself top of mind, reopen that bridge and get some of that new information from them or verify the information. So with the smart CRM that's built into MaxTech Powered by kvCORE, it helps provide a systematic way to organize your database. It's really easy to understand as sections to track the journey of each of your customers individually. And with each of these steps and stages, you can actually have automatic campaigns automatically contacting your client for you and making sure you're top of mind. Also allows you to help nurture leads and build that relationship. It can help you prioritize communication if you're not sure who to contact on a daily basis. It has the ability to create a daily contact sheet for you and suggest different people for you to reach out to. Also gives you the power to make different strategic decisions on how you can run your business. So whether or not be the alerts for certain properties, market reports, or any of the other things, there is a lot of automation. So the more you use it, the more you can have different automations working for you. And that saves you lots of time to reach out to people personally and individually as well. So with the migration, you can have, depending on the different programs you may or may not be using, you can have them imported directly into your smart CRM. If you had Booge, it will automatically be incorporated in there automatically for you when you create your account. If you have Gmail as well, you can also sign up, link your account, and your contacts will be automatically migrated for you as well. And you can also have your Outlook. Now, the thing about that, and I'll talk about that a little later, is that with Gmail or Outlook, you can only integrate one at a time, one or the other. So a couple of different ways, if you haven't already added contacts to your CRM, is you can do it yourself. You can manually upload, you can import. There's actually an email too that you can forward your contacts to, but there is a template that you do need to follow for it to import properly. And under the lead generation tab on the far left toolbar, which I'll show you also later when we do a live drive, there are a couple of different importing videos that you can watch to show you. So yeah, to show you how to import that. Sorry, that question just popped up. I'll answer that in a little bit, Donna, as soon as I finish talking about the importing of the contacts. But yes, so as soon as you can do it, you can watch that video. It'll tell you about the different criteria and how you can upload your contacts yourself. There's also a Let's Handle It section. So you can send all of your contacts to Inside Real Estate, the company that owns kvCORE, and they can upload all that information for you on your behalf. And they can do that as well. You just need to send them all of your contacts in that template CSV file, and then they can upload that for you directly into your smart CRM. And of course, you can also sync either Outlook or Gmail, and it is one or the other, and it'll automatically upload your contacts from those sites as well. And then that will also have all the emails that you're sending back and forth. It'll also include that within those contacts. Thank you, Alex. Already answered that one. Perfect. All right. So with the contact overview, just to get a gist of what you can see when you look at each of your individual contacts. And I know it is a little small, but we will zoom in on this when we do the live drive so you can see a lot more clearly. But you will have additional details that relate to the client at the top of your screen. So the client journeys, whether or not they're in your sphere, they're a prospect, you're a new lead, active lead, or client. On the left side, you have all the summary information and key details. So you have the contact number, you have the email address, the address of your client, whether they're a buyer, seller, renter, or vendor, and then the different hashtags. And the hashtags are a really neat feature, which I'll go a little bit more into detail as well a little later on. But hashtags essentially work just like in social media, like a search function. And you have unlimited number of hashtags that you can use, and you can add as many as you need per client as well. So you can have geographic region, price point, whether or not they've been pre-approved for mortgages. You can put anything you want in those hashtags. There is no limit to that, and it's completely customizable to what you have. It's not a drop-down selection of preset hashtags that you have. You also have a summary of the client, different talking points, so a summary of all the contact information, all the important details about your client, so you always know exactly what you can talk about or discuss with your client. Then on the right, you have different action setups that you can have. So there's actually a quick touch option. So you can do phone calls, add notes. You can send them an email from the platform, send them a text message, send them a video. You have all the options. And you also can see the summary of any of the automations are also part of that client's information. So whether or not you have any property alerts, campaigns, market reports, anything that's preset and automated will also be summarized there as well. Then in the main body of it is all of the current status and activity history with your client. So any of the emails, text messages, or calls, or any of the files that you've sent to your client from the platform, that's all summed up there. And I'll show you a great example of what that will look like when we do the live drive. So on the left side with the validation checks, there is a validation check that does happen. So the program automatically will check to see if the phone number and email are valid and work. With that, it does show the green ribbon. The green ribbon only shows up once, so it will only be gray until the first validation is run. After that, it will constantly be green, regardless of if you're changing the phone number or changing the email. If the email address is a valid email, the AI system will actually look to see if that email is registered to a certain name and actually pull that information to help kind of pad all the details you have on that client. And it will show a green shield with a green check mark. And if you can't see this, I'll zoom in this when I do the live drive, but there will be a green check mark next to it if it senses that it's a valid email, if there's a bounce back, and same with the phone number. When you change it as well, if you want to run a mandatory validation, all you need to do is click the green check mark and then it'll automatically test to see if any email is valid. But it will do this on a regular basis just to constantly update the system. Then you have the lead type. So with the lead type, you can change it to whether they're a buyer, seller, vendor, they're a fellow agent, or they're a renter. You can change that contact type as well. And then the hashtag. So this is the best part in my personal opinion, because this is how you can narrow down any kind of searches you have for within your database. So if you want to use it for, again, like I mentioned, price point, if there's anything, maybe they're looking to buy or sell in a couple of months, you can put a date in there. You can put a year, you can put in a month, you can say where the lead is coming from, you can say who referred it, whatever you like, whatever your imagination has, you can put it as a hashtag. There is no limit to that. And that also helps you when you want to narrow down your searches or create filters, you can use those hashtags as a search option. And another big thing too is all of your contacts are your own contacts. It is completely private. No administrator, no owner, no person at Remax headquarters will be able to see any of your information if they are your own personal contact. It will be private to you. And I'll show you exactly what this looks like when we do the live drive. But the only thing that anyone else can see other than you is some of the details on what they're looking for, the hashtags, and when you last contacted that person. Other than that, they cannot see any personal details from them. They cannot see their name. They cannot see their contact information. That lead is yours and that contact is yours. The only variation on this is if the lead is coming from your office website or from remax.com. Then, because those leads are owned by either your brokerage or owned by Remax as a Remax corporate, then those are visible to those levels of wherever the lead is coming from. But otherwise, your own leads are your own. It is private. No one else can see that information. Then in the middle top, you have the contact status. So whether they're in your sphere, they're a prospect, they're a new lead, as they go through that journey with you, you can change their status level. And each of these, if you do one, can actually trigger an automatic campaign. So depending on what they are, you can actually have different messages going out for different status levels. And you can keep that top of mind going on with those prospects and continuing to nurture that relationship. Then with activity timeline, you do have a timeline for all of your contacts with that prospect. So any emails you send, if they've opened up a file that you've sent them, if they've opened up any of the presentations, it will show all the information as well as all that contact that you've sent. So you can see at a glance all the information that you have, and you can easily reference any of that communications. And then some quick actions. So with quick actions, you can do add notes, you can make calls from it, you can send emails, you can send text. And then as you send it from this quick action box, it will also be included in that main contact information and have that summary, and you can add different notes and different contact information for that person as well. Okay, so just quick segue for Q&A. So question from Scott: what is the reason that mortgage lenders were assigned by RE/MAX? Mortgage lenders would not have, there is an option for mortgage lenders. With that, you can add lenders yourself to your contacts, and then that way you can share your prospects with them. So if you have someone who's buying a house, then you can share that contact with that lender directly through the platform, and it continues that chain of communication, and also have that chain of logging all the content, logging all the communications that you have back and forth with each of them. So you do have that option. It should not be assigned by RE/MAX, so this would be something you do yourself, but it is an option for that platform, because there are some lenders that actually use this platform to handle their own clientele as well. With the text message, right now it is coming from the smart number for the text messages. For the emails, I'll show you how you can do it, but for the emails, you can actually send it to be coming from you and your specific email. At this point, the text messages are coming from the smart number, but we are working on it so that you can look like it's coming from your number as well. Okay, Mary just had a question about the lenders again. It's follow-up, I guess. So you tried to add your lender and there's a password required. That is a very good question. I'm not sure. I believe the password may be something that you both share, kind of like if you're sending like a electronic funds to someone else, you do need a registry password, but I'm not quite sure on that one.
If I recall, when you add a lender, it creates them an account and gives them access to the account. So I believe the password that you're creating is their setup password for it. So you're essentially giving them secondary, secondary access.
Yeah, so as a follow through with that, with the contacts that you do share with your lenders, they do get that information for that contact as well when you do share that. So they get the full access. Thank you, Alex. All right. So with this, in addition to all of those contacts that you have with the quick actions, you also have automations that you can run with each of your prospects. And those automations will show up in a summary in the lower right corner. So whether it be property alerts, active campaigns, market reports, the presentations, so whether they're buyer or seller presentations, and then a selling report. And the best part about this too is with the presentations that you have, especially through Core Present, there actually is a button called Update. So if the best part of that is if they already purchased a property, you can use Core Present to actually be treated as kind of like a CMA for property valuation later on down the line. And you just click Update, and then updates that preset location with the newest listings or the newest availabilities, and then you can resend that to your clients as well. So 5 basic tips to get started with all this is spending time to organize your database is the first one. With this is the most important, because you do want to spend the time to actually set up everything properly so that you're not in a bad spot down the line or have to scramble, or you're not kind of sure where the things are organized and things are here and there. Maybe use like an old Rolodex system. This is something completely different, but you do want to take the time to actually set things up properly, ensure you have up-to-date information. Again, like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of like the best excuse to reach out to really old contacts to say, hey, I got this new CRM, and I just make sure that I have the most up-to-date information for you. That's just a really great way to do it. And then you have all that new information. You have some old prospects, maybe you have some old friends that you have that you can actually test certain little features with. So if you wanted to have automations, you can actually have friends test their automations. So you add them to these campaigns, and then they can let you know or forward those ones to you, so you can actually see and interact and figure out how that platform works as well. Also developing a hashtag strategy. Like I mentioned, hashtags are really important, and they're a great feature to have because you can search with them. You can use neighborhoods. You can have it as search preferences. You can have different urgency levels, maybe interests and hobbies. So if you have maybe like a golf feature, or you have a golf tournament, or your brokerage is doing something neat for something that is for people with specific hobbies, you can use your CRM, filter people with those hobbies, and then send them all an email updating them because you know they'll be interested in it. Of course, you can have different groups and associations as well. If you met them from a different kind of bark, if you're from like the Lions Club, or if you had, for me, like a rugby club, then you can have those associations with them, and then you know where they're coming from and different ways to communicate with them as well. Then you also have key automations as well. There are default smart campaigns that are already put into your account. You have a lot of them. They are pre-built by Inside Real Estate. And because they've had many, many years on this platform and have done automations through all of it, they do have a pretty good idea of what works best. So some of these default campaigns are really good ideas to kind of go through. Maybe if you don't want to use it and you want to make your own, you can kind of get the gist of everything as well. And then you can design your own automations as well. But you do have some that are pre-made for you and they're really easy to use. And you can have property alerts, you have seller reports, have monthly market updates. You can have any of these and have that automatically sent to your clientele for different geographic regions or different areas and neighborhoods. And you don't have to worry about generating all that yourself each and every time. So the pre-built smart campaigns, there's a lot of different options, and they don't just focus on one specific thing. So it's not just like a constant email blast back and forth. It is a mixture of different items, such as text messaging, emails. With the phone calls, it is just a task reminder to you to call somebody. It is not actually a phone dialer. However, if you do want to dial your client and set it as an automation, you can. But what will happen with that is it actually calls you first. And then when you pick up the phone, then it'll dial your client. So it won't dial your client first, and then they're sitting there being put on hold. It'll dial you first. Let's make sure you pick up the phone before it dials your client. And then there's always task reminders too. So just like setting reminders for yourself, you can manually set different updates and different tasks that you can have and remind you to do certain things. You don't necessarily have to do birthdays or different anniversaries or festival or seasonal items. You can actually set that to be automated. But if you do have a specific additional task, like someone's graduation, you can set a reminder for yourself to reach out to somebody and have that task there for you. And then with all of that, you can use any of those features as a filter. So the type of lead they are, where they're coming from, any of the pre-assigned automations, the filter is actually really, really neat because it actually has all those options, and you can search for anything with any kind of peculiarity, and it's really specific too. So if you want to really narrow down your search, you have that option, or you can keep it completely general. And I'll show you all the different things that filter has to offer as well when we do the live drive. So not only is this available on the computer, on your laptops, it's also available as a mobile app. And with the mobile app, it does almost, I would say, about 95% of the things that the desktop can do. So it's really great feature. Another thing that also does have, it has an open house app as well. With open house app, instead of getting people to sign in on a piece of paper or sending you an email, you can actually have an iPad or a tablet or just your phone as well. And it has an open house app, and you can customize it to ask for certain information, and you can choose what information to ask for, have them fill it out on the spot when they sign into your open house, and then they automatically get added directly into your CRM with all that information. So it's really automated. It's really easy to travel with. You have the latest communications. You can set it to push reminders onto your phone. So all those tasks get reminded on your phone. You get those alerts. And you can also see everything that's available for you there too. All right, so we're going to dive into a bit of the live drive. And so I'll show you everything that we've discussed. With this, if you do need me to zoom in, I'm going to try and zoom in and make sure I focus on everything that I'm showing you. But if you do need me to focus on anything in particular, please do let me know. All right, so before I jump into the live drive, kind of go over some of the questions that are still in the Q&A. Mary asked, how do we do this? I missed the point where you actually asked that question.
She was referring to the adding lenders ourselves.
Okay. All right. I will show that, although I'm a little rusty on that one because we don't really do that as often here in Canada, which is where I'm based out of, but we can definitely go over that. So just mark that done. Is there a way to keep contact in alphabetical order? Yes, you can definitely do that. Not a problem. I'll show you that when we do the live drive. Can you add an action on your own? Contact them. Yes.
Oh, like in the contact record.
Yep. So with the contact record, you can add notes. So with the notes, you can add customizable notes with whatever you want. You can also, if you are sending an email from your account outside of the platform, you can actually CC, so you can carbon copy the kvCORE email. Everyone gets a very specific one. So if you CC that email, it will automatically upload a copy of that email directly into that contact information as well. So you don't necessarily have to stick within the platform for the email. And I'll also make sure to remember to show that as well. And delete contact. I'll show you how to delete contact. Not a problem. And yep, you can definitely read the campaigns and I'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay. All right. So, oh, and there's the one from Nate. When we share contact, why can't they get notified when an email or text comes in? Clarification on that, Nate. Sorry. So when you're sharing a contact with a lender or with another agent? Agent. Okay. So when you're sharing with another agent, they should also get notified when they get in because it is a shared contact. So you both should get notified. That's an interesting one. That one, I may have to see and reach out to the support desk because that may be something that could be a glitch. And so we can definitely look into that and make sure that that doesn't happen going forward if that is currently happening, which I'm guessing it is since you have the question. Okay. So with kvCORE, when you're uploading, it won't necessarily scrub the contacts, but it will let you know if there are duplicated emails. At least it should be let you know if there are duplicated emails as well. But with that, that is something that you will have to look at manually as well. Fortunately, it is smart, but it's not that smart all the time. Okay, so let me start doing the live drive. All right. So before I get into a lot of the specifics about what the agents will have, sorry, you as an agent will have, let me just show you really quickly the privacy levels. So I'm just going to sign in. So I'm signing into a manager level test account. And I'm just going to go through this first part really quickly, just to show you the privacy, and then we'll go a little slower when we get to the agent portion, which is right after this. Okay, so with the broker level or manager level, if they go into your contacts, let me zoom in. You'll see this, all these ones here are all set at private. So they can't click and they can't see any of your personal information or sorry, any of your clients' personal information. That's all they see. They can see some of their interests and when you last contacted them, but they cannot see anything else. So this is completely private. They cannot see it unless it is, again, a company-owned lead or a brokerage-owned lead. So that would specifically come from those websites, the brokerage website or the remax.com website, then they'll see those. But otherwise, for your own individual leads, it is private and no one else can see that specific personal detail information. So to sign in, and the best way to get to the kvCORE platform is if you sign into Max Center. So this will be your remax.net email address. When you sign into the platform, if it doesn't already show up or you have not bookmarked it yet, you can go to the All Apps or Apps and Tools. and then look for the one that says Platform MaxTech Powered by kvCORE. Then you can bookmark it so that shows up always near the top. When you click it, then it brings you directly into the platform. So automatically signs you in through the through your remax.net email, and then you'll get straight directly into the account. With this, you'll see just a quick summary of all the latest information. You have different training options here on the right. So you have kvCORE training, the learning portal. This will redirect you to the Inside Real Estate Learning Platform. They have a lot of different courses there, as well as pre-made kind of like mini manuals for specific topics. They have different screenshots. They'll have some short recordings. It's really easy to follow. You also have the option. So at the toolbar on the left, you can see icons, but if you want, you can expand it by clicking the 3 horizontal lines. There you can see support and training. With the support and training, this will redirect you to the RE/MAX University platform, where either you can see the webinar schedules for all the webinars that we host I think it's 2 or 3 times every month on the Wednesdays. So you can actually look at the webinar schedules, which will also include some of the Inside Real Estate webinars as well. Or on the RE/MAX University platform itself, we have all the recorded ones as well. So you can rewatch any of the previously recorded webinars there as well. It's all included. You can just sign into your remax.net account and redirect yourself there. For the mobile apps, you can click, sorry, went a little fast there, but up here near the top, there's an option for download mobile app. If you click that, you can now get redirected to the different links to download your apps, either from the Apple Store or from for an Android. And this is the one for the CRM. Then if you scroll down, you get the one for the open house. And then you can download it from there. All right, so let me see. Okay, so I'll do smart campaigns first. So with the smart campaigns, if you go to the marketing option, under marketing, you have smart campaigns. And then under smart campaigns, automatically, as my campaign, you will have 9 different defaults that are included as part of your library. And then you can either toggle them on or off. So the status here will be on or off. And then under each of these, you can click any of these to look for any specific information. So if you want to click default new buyer, this will open up and this will show you all the specific information. So as soon as this lead comes into your CRM, it'll automatically send you a text to let you know that there's a new lead. It will let you know that you should call them and leave a voicemail. It will send a text on your behalf to the person. And then on the second day, it will send an email. For each of these, to look at the specific details of what's being sent, you can go to edit and you get to see all the specific details of exactly what is being said or being sent to the person. And you can see who's sending it. So whether it be yourself or the system, and then to the contact. And you can change when it gets sent as well and any details. Now with some of these, because these are the default versions, these are shared versions, in order to make the edits and to completely make it customizable to you, what you need to do is you go up here to clone campaign, clone the campaign, and then select what triggers this campaign. So is it going to be for a new lead? Is it going to be when another agent is sharing a lead with you? Is it when there's a specific hashtag that triggers it? Or you don't want to have a specific trigger yet. You just want to have it just waiting and ready for you whenever you do need it. Always run. So this is something for admins and for team leaders. If you are setting up a team level campaign, always run. You want to actually make sure that this is no. The reason for that is always run. And let me zoom in on this so that you can actually read what it says. Always run enables a campaign to be assigned to a contact that meets the criteria, whether or not another campaign has been assigned. So if there are different triggers that work for a client, so if there are multiple campaigns that are possible for a client, do you want overlapping campaigns to occur? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, depending on what the campaign is. But just in case there's an overlap, you don't want to have duplications sent to this that say the same thing or similar things to a client, because that would just confuse them all the more. So you do want to, in those situations, want to make sure that this says no, so that it doesn't overlap with other campaigns. And then you can click next and then figure out who is this campaign designed for. This is specifics for yourself and descriptions for you to know exactly what it is at a quick look. Then once you have that set up, you now have a copy of that default campaign. And now you can rename it because now this is your campaign. This is completely customizable to you, and you can add or change anything that you like within the wording. So I can say I want to name this. Details. I want to name this. Customize campaign. And then I can save it. And that is now the new title for this campaign. And then from here, now I can start editing all the specific details. So if I just want to say, just want to change it to just something simple. Hello. So now you can change it. And then you can save it. And you can do that with any of the other changes as well. So any of these other options that you have, a lot of these campaigns are for the long term. So as you build your relationship with them, it will continuously contact them. There's also another neat feature, which I will show you as well. It's called behavioral automation. And what happens is, as soon as a prospect responds, it will automatically change that prospect status level from just someone as a new prospect to someone who is an active prospect. And you can make that, and that's automatically done for you. As soon as they respond to it, then their status changes because now they have given you a response of some type. For the campaign actions too, this is also where, as I mentioned earlier, you can also add different call options. So you can add an action. So let's say you want to make them a call. So with the call, I can set up a template if I want to use something that that has been pre-designed, or I can decide to make my own. I don't have to follow a template. So I could just type in something random. If it was an email, this is just a message for yourself. But as you can see here, the default is a task reminder. So it just sends you an update on your task list to call this person. However, you can change it to call me. So this is when the system will call you first. And then as soon as you pick up, then it calls your client. And then you can save that. And then that will now be saved in the system. And it'll now, on that specific day after they've been joined or whatever the trigger is, it will call you first and then direct you to your client. Now with the client information, second. Sorry, it is giving me the wrong access. Try it again. Okay. So now with the contact information, you can see all of the different prospects that you have. So these are all the different names, however many times you've contacted them or sent them emails, where they came from. So whether you added them manually or if it came from a different source. And I'll show you the filters first. For the filters, you can look for the different status level. So whether they're prospect, sphere, new client, you can search for that. You can search if there was a lender assigned to them. You can search for whether or not they're a buyer, a seller, maybe a rating level. You can select a hashtag, or you can select a not hashtag. So anything that's not a specific one. The type of where it came from, whether or not they have a phone number, email, whether or not there's text messages, birthdays, no birthdays. So if you did want, and you're looking through some of your old contacts, you can select everybody who has no birthday, search for them, and then start reaching out to those people looking for a birthday. So that's another excuse to reach out to them. You You can also have the behavior. So whether or not there's any alerts set for them. So if you already have alerts being sent out automatically, if you don't have any, anyone who has market reports or no market reports, active campaigns or not active campaigns. There's a lot of different features they can filter for. And at the end of it all, at the very end, and unfortunately I have this bubble here, but at the very end, you have an option under apply filter called save filter. With the save filter, you can name this search feature. And then what you can do is you can actually pin this to your top of your CRM. So if you pin it, every time you go into your contacts, you now have that search criteria as an option here. So every time it does, and this is a live update. So the more contacts you add or you change, this will constantly update every time you click the tab. So then you'll have all of your different prospects that suit that search criteria in this tab. Now I put myself in here to show you what you can actually see with the different contacts. So the different contacts, you can see here that there's a green shield next to my email address. So that means that this is an existing and valid email. I can always click this. If I change that email, I can always click this again and it'll spin and it'll say validation ran. And then it actually shows up as a activity that said a validation was run and a name was found and the name matches. So you can see and verify that that is the correct email address. You can also change the status level. You can add different hashtags and you have that quick summary about the client. And this is where you have complete control. Like I showed you before with broker owners, managers, everybody else, the contact is private. However, if you do want to make it a public contact, or if you want to give it to someone else or add it to a pond, you can always make that contact visible. And that's completely up to you. No one else can do this for you. Then on the far right, you have that quick action. So you can do the phone, you can add a note. So you can add a note for any of the contacts or any summaries that you have that you've sent them. You can send them an email from here. You can send them a video. So with everybody's MaxTech Powered by kvCORE account, everybody does get 10 individual bomb videos every month. So you have 10 videos that you can send to any prospects. They are individual live recorded videos they can send to anybody, and it is part of your account. If you already have a bomb account, you can link it with your MaxTech Powered by kvCORE. You can actually link it and you can send mass recorded or pre-recorded videos as well to any of your prospects. But for free, it is 10 live recorded videos to 10 individuals. And you can send that through here. Then you can also have Core Present. And this is the presentation. I'll show you the presentations in a bit, but I'm actually going to jump from here and show you how you can change your email addresses. So from your main window, under your name, this should have your name in this upper corner. You're going to go down to My Profile. And under My Profile, you can go to Edit Profile. And then here, in this section under Contact Info, you can change your from email. So this is where any email sent from the system will look like it came from this account. And you can have that name there as well. So this is where you can change the outgoing information. Now for emails, back. Of course, it's not quite remember being. Apologies, I'm kind of jumping around because I'm looking for that email address. What was here? about that. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to find. So there is that option to, like I mentioned before, where you can actually CC your very specific email, kvCORE email, so that automatically uploads to that contact. And I thought it was under here, but I can't see it anymore. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to have to come back to that. Okay. But back to the specific contact. With the right options, you get to see all of the different alerts that maybe you've sent them, any campaigns that they're part of. You'll see any of the core presentations. So whether or not it be listing or buyer presentations, if you've sent it from core present, they'll all be included here, and any of the additional automations that you have. Then in the middle section, zoom in a little bit more. The middle section, you have all the history contact information that you have. So any emails that were sent out, any evaluations, the last time you changed them from whether or not they were a prospect to whether they were an active prospect. If you have different hashtags, that has a history of everything you've done with them. It also will have a link showing you whether or not they've opened up any of your emails or presentations. And it will show you that with the summary as well. So here it says this email was not opened. Here it says the client has viewed the presentation. So you have that complete history. And when you click any of it, it will actually redirect you to whatever that contact was. So if you click the presentation, it'll show you what presentation you had sent. If you click the email, you can see what email was sent. So it has a log and history of all that information for you that you can always see at a glance for each of your individual contacts. So we are almost actually out of time for this, but that's just a quick summary of what you are able to do. Going to go through some of the Q&A. So with the hashtags, no, your clients cannot see what you do on this platform. So your analytics or your tracking of them, seeing what they see, how much time they spent on certain things, your hashtags, your notes, they do not see any of that. The toggle, I'm going to guess this was about the smart campaigns. So the toggle is whether or not it is running, is active or not active. So right now, this is just there as an option. If you want to turn it on, make it active, that's what the toggle is for. So it asks, are you sure you want to have this campaign run? Then you toggle that on, or you can turn it off. So that's what that toggle feature is for. So right now, the phone calls are coming from the smart number when you dial out. We are looking into making that change, but right now it is the smart number that is dialing out for the phone calls. What happens when a client says stop? So every email that gets sent out that is automated will have an unsubscribe option at the very bottom. And so if they unsubscribe, it will trigger the smart CRM to actually unsubscribe and say that they have opted out of all email contacts for future campaigns. That will automatically happen. Oh, yes, sorry, removal of contacts. So with removal of contacts, when you're in the main CRM, so under all contacts, you can select an individual contact or group of contacts. Under more actions, you can now delete them. You can also, if you want to do mass mail, you can select multiple of them from here and then send a mass email. And you also have an option too to actually print address labels as well. So if you select multiple ones, if you wanted to send like a calendar at the end of the year, you can select all of your contacts, go to print address label, and then Under each individual contact, you can have spouses, if you want to include titles, and then it tells you exactly what kind of sticker is required. And then you can export it and then print it. And that's exports all their address information and names from the Smart CRM. Going back to spouse really quickly, under your contact information, if you are looking for profile details, you can actually add, if the spouse doesn't want to be a separate contact, or if you're just adding a note for yourself, you can add the spouse here as well, so you don't have any duplications. You can add spouse email and phone number as well, so you can reference that with your contacts. It has all that information here under details. All right. So it is 2 o'clock, or sorry, it is 11 o'clock your time in Arizona. I can definitely stay so I can answer any more questions, but if you do need to go, thank you very much for your time and for attending. But I will be staying on for however long as you need to answer some questions. I'm going to start unmuting everyone because there are quite a few questions sitting in the Q&A, but I'm going to start unmuting everyone, and then we can have more of a open discussion about items. Give me 1 sec.
So Chris, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
So when I run those boost ads, I know you said that the client has the opportunity to, remove themselves. Do I have to take them out of that line because it shows like new prospect or something? Do I remove them manually then when they say stop?
So the way the system is supposed to work when they do that is it will actually show up as a tag on the person. So actually show up under their details that they have requested no more emails. So it should automatically take them out of any future email list. So they will stop being contacted by email if they opt out. So you do not need to do that manually. It would just happen automatically.
You sure about that? Because I think they stay in there unless I delete them.
In that case, we can contact the support team, because under my understanding is that they should automatically be taken out when they opt out. It should be done.
Donna, I think it goes into the unsubscribed, and so they won't get any more emails automatically. But I don't think it deletes it from your system because I've had a few people.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know what I'm talking about. So the name still stays there. So what's the purpose of keeping the name there if they tell you they want to unsubscribe? That's my question, I guess.
Doesn't it stay with you? Because if they come back in the system, then it belongs to you. Is that how it works?
And this is for the boost function?
Yeah, like I send out boosts like for a property that I have listed. So you get all these new people that, they saw the property or whatever. And then I'll see that, text messages or emails have been sent, and on an email or text message, it says stop, but the person's name is still listed under contacts.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah,
Sure.
Of course.
So Donna, when you go to the mall and you're looking at something, the salesperson comes up to you and says, "May I help you?" What's your normal response?
Oh, I get it. You say,
So-
no, I don't need any help right now.
Right. And so what Danielle's trying to tell you is you can delete them if you want, which is up to you, or you can keep them there and maybe you can engage with them at a later time.
Got you. All right.
Just your
Thank you.
business practice.
Yep. Gotcha. Thank you.
I appreciate you telling us how to add a spouse. That was one of my questions.
Yeah.
So if I do an email to all my, leads or whatever,
Mhm.
will both of those emails pick up and both of those spouses get an email, or is it just the main
No,
contact?
that would just be the main one. There is so such as if you were to go into Core Present, when you do the sending the presentation, then you can select a spouse email. So it's for secondary features such as that. But for the
Okay.
main contacts, main emails being sent out, it's just to that primary person.
Okay, thank you.
Danielle, if you're going to use the record like that, where you have both husband and wife or partners, what have you,
Mhm.
you have to go into the address. And there's a spot for like mailing labels where you can add, John and Mary Smith there.
Gotcha, okay.
If not, everything will just be addressed to John Smith.
Right, okay, I remember that from Bouge. You can change how it's addressed. Okay, thank you.
Chris,
Yes.
when a call is made and they answer, it will change the lead from new contact to active lead. I don't always want that to happen because sometimes, they're whatever. So what I'm wondering is, how do you turn it off so that when the specific scenario of a call, it doesn't automatically change?
So with that behavioral automation, it would depend on which one you're trying to do. So under
Go to Smart CRM.
it would be under behavior automation. So under marketing, under behavior automation, when they contact you, you can have the different status alerts, the different levels to
Mhm.
change their behavior. So depending on which one it is, you can change whether or not their status level gets updated. Sorry, that behavior down there is just for contacts, but up here it'd be for new leads and prospects, and then that changes what status level they're at. There is another option too that is a little more complicated, but this is the general idea. So I'm not sure if this specifically will help in your direct situation. So depending on which status it is, it will move it to the next level. But there is also an option under smart campaigns. So if they are part of a smart campaign, there is an option. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm just going to quickly just generate this here really quickly so I can have an editable version. But there is an option under a smart campaign that can change the status level when they have a certain value or they hit a certain time where they reply. Then you do have, for a smart campaign, you can change the status level of your prospect.
It's easy to switch them back to a prospect and lead
Yeah.
by just clicking it. And turn it
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, but so depending on the situation, if it is an automation, you can either turn it off en masse in either the behavior automation or change it in the campaign action. But if it is just individuals, yes, the fastest would be just to do it specifically for each individual person. But if it's a
Okay.
blanket change that you need to make, those are the two different ways you can do the blanket change.
Okay, thank you.
No
Yeah,
problem.
I just had that happen yesterday. I was speaking to someone, a new lead, texting them back and forth. And then before I had a chance to input them, they went into my website and became a new lead. And so they got a general text from me that looked kind of off because we've been already communicating. So I turned that off and apologized and, just said, oh, sorry, it's a smart system. Sometimes, it's not so smart. But
yeah, that can happen. Yeah, especially if you are contacting outside of the system first. As soon as you bring it into a system, that does automatically happen.
yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Hi. It's a Boost question. When using Boost, it seems like I have all my social medias connected, and it seems like that I'm only getting stuff from Facebook. Is it only go out to Facebook, or is it supposed to go out to all of them?
That is something that they're working on currently. That has been an issue where it is only Facebook. They are working on making sure that is with other platforms, but it is something that they are in the middle of working on. So it is something that will be improved.
Okay, thank you.
Right now, so far, the Facebook seems to be the only successful one, but they are working on fixing that.
Chris?
Yes.
Hi. I was interested in the emails, connecting the Gmail so that you can select certain, well, for us, we have owners, because I'm in the property management side also, along with sales and buyers. So we add that complication into the mix. So what I would want to do is do an auto email connect with our owners through the Gmail. How would I select and do that in the CRM? Because they are in our CRM.
Okay. So you're looking for, summarize, a way to mass email from your contacts?
No, I've done, I've sent the short videos and I've sent emails.
Okay.
But what I want to do is, you said there's a way to connect a Gmail account
Yes. Okay.
so that it goes into their contact information.
Got it. Okay. So with that, at the very top of the screen, the mail, the envelope, you can connect your Gmail account.
Duh. Never saw
And
that.
then you just enter that. Yep, not a problem. It's a really small icon. You may think it's to send emails, but it's also the very first time you use it is to actually connect.
Okay, perfect.
And what that will do though, it'll bring all your Gmail traffic right into kvCORE. So if you get a lot of email through that Gmail account, it's all going to appear into your kvCORE when you're inside the, is it the timeline?
Well, that's what I wondered. Can I just, that's what I want to select. I only want to select
No.
notification from
Sorry.
owner.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, you can't pick and choose.
Okay.
If you connect, it will connect everything and all your contacts in Gmail.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's not a bad thing. We just be aware. And if you click on an email inside kvCORE, you can respond, and it just takes you to the Gmail editor as opposed to using kvCORE's email platform.
Yeah, but I'd be seeing our own emails in there.
Yeah.
Our inter office emails. I don't.
Yeah, you'll see it all. I see it all.
Yeah, I don't want to see it all.
Yeah.
That's more than
You
my
want to see-
person. My person can handle. My partner can handle, and I don't want to see it either.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why you have that.
Yep.
That's why I gave you that warning, right? So-
Yeah, yeah.
That was a very
perfect.
good warning to have. Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah.
I think the same thing. You can create all your owners and make a hashtag for your owners, and I think you could pull up by the hashtag and
I already
send
did.
email direct to all those owners.
Yeah, I've already done that because I
Yeah.
sent our intro video to all our owners only. And then
Okay.
I sent, yeah, because they're the ones that need to know I'm admin now. So they'd be
Right.
communicating, they communicate with me and
Mhm.
our other
Cool.
agents. Yeah.
Chris,
Yes.
at convention, I remember them talking about how, I believe it was in the listing valuation, you could update the CMA and pick different comps and things like that. But when I
Yes.
try it, I can't get it to work.
Okay. So let's go into. So the listing valuation, this one here is preset. So it is automatic. So this is a really easy, if you don't want to spend the time to make a CMA, this is just a really quick one-page listing valuation that you can update and send. Let me give you. copy of it.
I can help you with the Core Presents. I've used it several times.
So yes, exactly. So this is just a quick one pager, but the updates and everything will be through Core Present.
Okay,
And this is where you can do all of the updates here. So this is, like I mentioned, another great feature to have to keep yourself top of mind with someone who's already purchased. What you can do is when you go to Core Present, all right, give me 1 second. Let me exit out of here. Let me go into Core Present. This will show you everything that has been sent from Core Present, and you have this update here. So you can update with the latest ones, and then when you go into your edit, when you edit this more specifically, then you can actually narrow down the criteria as well for it. Update. And then, so in this case, this was a list, a buyer presentation. So this property is no longer available. So you can click, and then you can add other ones manually or geographic regions, and then save. And then this will update the entire presentation, and you can resend it to the person.
okay, thank you.
No problem.
Is there a way to add a UCB into this tour? I tried doing that, but because it wasn't active, it wouldn't let me add it. Is there a way to get around that? Like UCB is under contract accepting backup offers, so they're still allowing showings and buyers, but I can get it into the campaign or to the tour.
With this, with the presentation, it has to be active on your MLS, on your local MLS. It does have to be active. It currently, and unless your local MLS board allows sold data or anything like that, or expired data to be shared, then no. It would have to be based on your MLS board. So if it's not available, then you cannot pull any of those expired. It just have to be active listings.
Okay.
It seems to me that it does appear active, pending, and closed on the CMA. Now, I think what they show is active because they still are active if it's a UCB. So if it should automatically import, I'll pull one up on my side and report back.
Yeah, I think you're right, but it's just the buyer campaign. I tried doing that for the buyer. Present.
No,
For the first time.
yeah, I've never used that. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool tool because this buyer's been using the site, so I thought I'd try it. And it showed me when he viewed it, and then I got a copy of it. It's a cool feature. It just doesn't bring in UCBs. But
Do you want your buyer to see the UCB, the property that's not available?
say that again.
I said, do you really want your buyer to see a house that's not available?
Well, they're accepting backup offers and we're limited, then yes.
Yeah,
That
I
was
agree.
one of several. Slim pickings out there, Nate, for VA buyers under 250.
I also had a question. Can you send like an RPR through kvCORE?
No,
Not familiar with the term RPR.
no.
It's a property report, a current property. It's like our property owners that we manage properties for. We like to send them a property evaluation yearly.
Yeah, so from experimentation, I think Nate was just saying no. When I tried doing like listing evaluations and seller reports for, sorry, not seller reports, for listing evaluations for commercial properties, it does not seem to work.
Okay.
It's just for residential that seems to work for.
Yeah,
Well, these are
RPR is
residential rentals.
yeah, it doesn't work with RPR.
Okay.
It's a different company, different system.
No, I was asking if you could do an RPR through this program.
You can do a market analysis or a presentation, yeah, but it's not called RPR. RPR is a different company.
Yeah.
You want to do a CMA, you do that through Core Presents, and in Core Presents, when you open it up, it'll have their address and everything, and you can do a complete presentation.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be an actively listed property on the MLS.
No,
Okay,
No, not
this is
for
what
listing
you
purposes.
use as well for a CMA. You know, the house.
correct.
It's pretty easy to use. It'll automatically, you can get some parameters like square footage and stuff. I found it easier to make sure I put the MLS number so I can hand pick the properties. Because like in my area, sometimes neighborhoods switch over in the circle that it picks, and there are different neighborhoods and different builders and different price points. So it gives you the option to just add the MLS numbers you want. You can do it both ways, but it's very easy.
Okay, so you can do a CMA, but you can't do a current market evaluation.
Yeah,
on
you can.
property.
Well, that's what a CMA is.
Yeah, it's the same thing, because I can see right there, it tells
You're
you.
getting
it's in
comps,
bed.
but I don't want to send comp. Well, yeah, I don't want to send comps. I just want to send the report.
Well, that's what this is. I mean,
It doesn't send the other addresses that you're comparing their property to?
yeah, wouldn't they want to know that?
Only for sending a rental. I'm talking about a sale of property. Some investors, you know, we have one that's probably going to 1031 her property for a different property. So what I'd want to see is a current market evaluation. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what-
I guess it's just I don't send all of that. I send them the RPR, which gives them a current range depending on
that-
you know,
this will give a
condition of their
range as
property.
well. This will give a range as well, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
can you show, because I know like with the circle that's on the map right there.
Yep.
You can draw your own area
Yes,
in
correct.
reference to what Nate just said. Can
Mhm.
you show us how to do that?
Yep, sure. Just give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So from here, you can go to manual. And then from manual, you can enter the MLS ideas, but then what you can
You
do
you
for-
have the tools right in the top center. Your drawing tool.
Yep. And then you have the new bounding area. But then you can also do the manual if you just have very specific properties that you want to show and compare it to. You can manually enter it under manual as well. And then you can also change the criteria right off the spot before you build or narrow it down with the options here.
Click build the CMA, that way they can see the end result.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is pretty cool. I've been using this quite a bit.
All right. So with this, you can see the different ranges. It has that as well. It'll give you some comparisons with the market assessment. And then if we go to create presentations for the final one, this will give you complete control over the different slides that you want to include. So if you want to add a different slide, it has a lot of different Remax templates.
And can
You
you
can
see,
pick from?
can we customize our own templates? Was there?
Yes,
That's something
you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can build your own template and then upload your template, and then that will be available to all of your different presentations going forward as well.
Okay.
So I'm just going to add this one here. And then you can remove any if you need to, if you don't want to have any, but you'll have buyer activity with the summary for your presentation.
You know that funnel that's right there? That's really
Yes.
cool. So correct me if I'm wrong, okay? So once all of us start using kvCORE, And the kvCORE knows what's going on in the background of all of our sites. You can see it says there's 39 engagements with Remax. So it would say Remax professionals. I've seen this a few times where there's like a lot of numbers there, and then it comes down and it's people are engaged near that listing, and then people near that listing, near that price point. And it kind of shows the client that there's a lot of buyers. So how does it grab that information of these 39, in this case, active? I know if we go back in a minute, it'd be interesting to see, are we supposed to be putting buyers criteria in the system, or is it just using AI to see the buyer's activity to come up with that number?
So it is a mixture of both. So either it's something that you have entered, or it is also through the AI. So what also does happen too is if you were to send just a generic search alert,
right,
for a specific area, the AI actually records which properties this prospect looks at on that alert. And then so that would trigger a more focused alert in the future. And also that analytic travels backwards into other core presents for that area too.
Can you go back one screen, please?
Sure.
Can you click on property profile details? And right here where it says home preferences, what is that for?
This is just for your own personal note as to anything that they're specifically looking for. This does not trigger any alerts or any other information. This is just kind of for you keeping track of what this person is looking for.
Okay.
So can you go back to that report? Where does it show you the market analysis or the CMA? Where does it show you a dollar amount? Let's say what this property came out to.
Yeah, so then that would come from here. So this would be the market assessment and the pricing.
When you finish the report, it shows it.
So this gives you all the different properties in the area, most closest sold. And you can also change the different, where the slides go in the order as well.
So it gave you a price somewhere? I didn't see
Yeah, you
that.
can see it right there in the center of the screen, the average of the closed comps that was just up there. It had it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
And Nate, you probably know this. Okay, if you input your own MLS numbers,
Yes.
okay, what information does it input? Does it input the pictures and stuff?
Yep, everything.
So if all the pictures and everything will go into here. Okay, all righty.
If you were to go to the present and share, and then you can see what the consumer would see.
I actually have one that I made before. So if we go to this one. So this will be the presentation that I created. So it has all the information of criteria. This was the bounding circle that I used at that time. The average closed most recently. So this will show on a chart. The current assessment. And then more of the presentation, why they should list with you. And then this is completely stuff that you can add manually on your own. You can pick and choose. This was the funnel. At that time, it was only 26. And then marketing plan. Now, the best part about this too is right now, I mean, it's signed into my account, but when your client is looking through all this presentation, the more time they spend on this presentation per page, where the mouse goes, that is also all tracked analytically, and you can actually see all that information. So even though your client may not be verbally telling you anything, you can see what they're looking at or what's got their interest.
Chris, I sent this presentation to a client last week, and it showed me that she opened it 46 times.
Wow.
Well, she might be going back to review something, but yeah, you can see how much time they spent on it with the analytics. Yeah, it's really neat. Yeah, so they've got however many times it's been opened, what kind of information it's had. Right now, there's no analytics on this one because I just updated and resent, but it will show all that information under the analytics.
Can
Yeah,
you
there's a
send
heat
that,
map for mice. Yep.
can you send that presentation to more than one person at a time?
Yep.
Yes. So what it actually does is automatically will ask if you want to be sent to a second person, just in case your client has any kids or parents or something that want to look at it. You can email the presentation.
You can also put a picture of their house on that front page that we're looking at right there,
Right.
or a picture of the community or whatever you want.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to be
Yeah,
white.
right now, all of this is, this is just really basic out of the box. But if once you do get comfortable with it, there's a lot of customization that you can do with everything, like moving things around on certain pages. Yeah, like adding that background. There's a lot you can do with it.
Look at that. You can add your listing agreement, a cost sheet, a video.
Oh, wow.
Send. I haven't done that yet.
Okay, your listing agreement.
And then there's a link too. And with on the buyer side, for the buyer version, this will ask you if you want to open up directly on like a tablet or an iPad. And then you can actually just hand it off right to your client as you're going to visit properties for the buyer presentation. And with the buyer presentation, there actually is a final page where they can actually rank the properties that you've shown them.
That's my question for you, Chris.
Yes.
I was told, and I may be told wrong, but I was told that we can treat kvCORE similar to the MLS and create a search on here per client,
Yes.
and you can
Yes.
actually see. Can you, you haven't gone through that, have you, by chance?
No, I have not. No. So yeah, I'll just finish up this thought with the buyer presentation. So this was a buyer presentation. And then at the very end, they can rank 1 to 3, whether or not they're interested in the property as you're visiting properties. And they can do that on the spot with a tablet. Okay.
You know, Rose, to your point, and everybody listening, it is my strong opinion that you should never use MLS to send and put people on. You should use your own website so that the interaction coming through kvCORE or anything Remax increases our, for lack of a better word, Google juice, right? All the analytics you're sending all the analytics to Armless, which does no value to you. And you can do all your searches here. And he's going to show you that right now.
Okay, cool.
So under the person's information at the top, there's an alert section. Under alerts, you can set up to 2 alerts at the same time. And you can search by city, area, neighborhood. You can draw it on a map. You can draw an area. Then you can choose frequency. So you can choose, frequency. So you can do it how often you're sending the alerts, daily, weekly, twice a month, monthly. If you want a secondary email address for it to be sent to. So if you want it to be sent to a spouse outside of the primary email, or a kid or parent, the type of listings, and then this is where you can get all your specific details about what kind of property within that area you want. Also the choice of amenities, so exactly like MLS, we can choose any of that, and then you can set the alert. And then
Chris, when you do these searches
Yep.
like this, is it just a search, or do you actually have like a portal like the MLS does where they can go in and pick their own criteria to search for?
With this one, you are picking the criteria.
No,
Yeah.
I meant like my my clients. Like I'll send a
Yeah.
portal invite to my client. They go into my MLS and they, set up their own searches and do stuff like that. Is that something you can do through kvCORE, or do we have to set all the specifics?
Not at this moment. This one you have to do.
Yeah, but once they get there, they have access to go create their own searches. They have
Gotcha.
100%
I actually have not
access.
played with that function, so I cannot say sorry
Yeah,
for that.
this right here is a push, but once they get into your system, they have access. They'll have a map just like this, and they can draw whatever they want. What's really interesting is that every subdivision in Maricopa County is in kvCORE. So if you want to say Blackstone Phase 3, it'll pull up just Blackstone phase 3, or you can draw it out, right?
Okay.
So it's fun to play with, you know, it's like everything else, a little quirky until you understand how easy it is. But just like if you looked at, can you go to a website real quick, just a website? I tested this out last week and got like 40 responses in a few minutes. And I know Rick followed and did the same thing. He saw my post and just did the same thing because it works. But this is a way to get interaction. And as soon as this website pulls up, there's going to be a button that says like sellers or what your house is worth. So I guess if you hit sell.
I tried this also, and I have a specific question about it.
Right. So what you do is you put an address in here, and once they hit next, it takes them right to our search bar. And maybe if you back up a page, there's one that just shows search. And this is what your consumer would see if you just arrow back to the previous screen.
All right. Yeah. And then so
the search bar there to the left, right? If they want to search for anything here, it gives them the opportunity to search for whatever they want. You pull down filters and stuff.
Yeah, that's
they
what
can
I
hit
was,
that
okay.
save
And then
search.
that way all their search data stays in kvCORE that way, and it's not harmless, right?
Right.
Exactly. And then
Right.
afterwards, they just hit this save search button right here and are able to save it to their parameters.
Yeah, and they
apologies for the horrendous purple. I was showing a customization option at a previous training, and I haven't changed it back.
I like it.
That
So
was gonna
this-
be my
So
question.
Can I
So
ask a question on this? Because I had problems with it.
Yeah,
So I was at an event last week and you did what Nate did and clicked sell and then what's my home worth. And I was able to have great conversations with people and I was able to get them the information. But two things happened. I was not using a laptop or an iPad. I was using my phone. And what appeared to happen was that there was no way for me to clear out the previous person's information. So I kept having to open a new browser. That was fine. But then ultimately what I learned when I got back to the computer was that only the very first person that I spoke to that day, only their information dropped into the CRM automatically. Everyone else that I did that little exercise with, their information never made it to the CRM. Now I'm old, so I had a piece of paper and a pen, so I wrote everybody's name and address down, so I will be able to add them.
If you
But
use,
what's the glitch there? What am I doing wrong?
you shouldn't be using it that way. Number one, right? You should put it on their phone and have them use it independently.
Yeah, it wasn't a space where they had phones with them at the time.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think that tool's, I mean, you probably should have just a test account and show them how it works. And then you can set them up on the search, or if you use the open house tool somehow, and they have
I couldn't
access to
figure out how to.
technology.
Yeah, that was my intention, Nate, but I couldn't figure out how to not associate with that with the property. So I just went this option instead.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're going in as a consumer. You're not going in as a realtor when you're going this way.
Nice. Right. But it was just odd because I would just open a new browser each time, go to my website and do it for the person. It was just odd that only the first human being I spoke to that day dropped to the CRM, but no one else ever did.
When you're talking about dropping, are you talking about them logging in? Or are you talking
No,
about just
so
like
when
them
I go to
being
my
added searching?
CRM, I can see that I have a new prospect. His name is Francisco. And he was the first person I spoke to, but the other people, their information never entered into the CRM. When I say drop, I mean, when they type in their address, it's going into I never had to type any of that.
Yeah, but why would you use your device to do that? Because it knows your cookies. That's why.
Yeah.
It should be going from their device. You shouldn't put that
Okay,
in.
well, that's a good tip. That's a good tip. And the reason was we were at a health and safety fair and people were at work. And while they were at work, they didn't have their phones on them. So they were just coming by to get information.
Mhm.
And
That's something where I might also suggest too is if you do want to create an account, also what you can do instead is give them like a URL shortener,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then you can give them like a shortened and you can customize this to be like you can write health and safety April or whatever month, and you can completely customize that last half of the rem.ax, so it makes it really easy for them to remember. And then on top of this, with the short links, if you haven't used it yet, you also get analytics too. So you get to see how many people clicked, how often they've been clicking it, and you can see all that information as well.
you can just
And that
text
tracks.
it to them and say, hey, go try this later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what you do with this, right, the URL shortener, that's what you can use to put on Facebook or text to people.
Yeah.
So all
Yeah,
the
I
people that you had say, hey, I'll set you up when you get done with work today, open up your phone and I'm going to send you this code through text. Put your phone number, type it in, send it to them, and they'll take them right to that page and it'll go right into your, that's where they'll load into your deal.
Yeah.
When I did it on
And do you
Facebook.
think, is your recommendation that each and every human being gets their own individual QR code? Or
No.
do we send them the same QR
Same
code?
one. Same one.
Code, yeah.
The only time you would use different is if you're testing to see which platform is better.
Mhm.
If you want to go that far and that specific, but otherwise, yeah, you can just use the same one. But the QR, after you make this short link, you can just download it from here. And then that you can just use that QR code that downloads right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah, so Roberta, everybody will go to the same link and use the same QR code, but since they're all on all their own individual computers, they'll be getting all the correct answers as well as dropping into your system after that. It was because
Right.
you had them all going to the same page, so it was just reloading the page over and over again and trying to add new information that it wasn't able to input. So it just kind of was getting jumbled because you had them all going through the same one on your one device.
Give you guys an example with the QR code. We built our QR code just like he just showed, and we on every print piece of material that we go out, we say what's your house worth, and we put that QR code. And if I wanted to track it separate, I'd do it different, but right now I don't care. I just created one QR code. It goes on it's going on all my postcard mailings. I did a top 50 mailing last week and send out a scratcher's card. On the back of the card, there was like a little circle there that says, you want to know what your house is worth? And then the QR code. And I had people just automatically going on there. What you'll find though, is sometimes people will log in, even though they're in your CRM, they're using a different email or something. And so it creates a new record. So I go in there and I just move the information over and then delete that one and they're dialed into my new one or my existing one, so I don't have duplicates. But it works real well.
But can I maybe this isn't the time, but on the property alerts, I know I've emailed Alex several issues, but there are criteria that are not included that, at least for me, are causing issues. So I'm not able to use the alerts as much as I would like to.
What criteria?
Well, like Gemini Twin is not in there. And so those are being included under single family. And homes with pools and private pools and golf course lots are also not included.
Yeah, they're right. See right there, you can see golf course.
Right, but that's pulling everything in a community with a golf course, not a specific golf course lot.
Okay.
And same with pool.
My question was, what about multifamilies or commercial properties? This looks to me only to be residential. Does it do that?
It's a residential program, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you can search for commercial
Oh,
as a
go
type.
down there. It does say multifamily.
Yeah.
Does it say
So
commercial
it
too?
is an option for the type, and then it just would mean that these criteria, some of these may not be applicable.
Did it
Yeah.
have commercial as well?
It did.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but that's only going to be through Armless. It's not going to be through all the commercial websites where most of the commercial
No.
properties exist.
Correct. It's just through the MLS, not
Right,
separate sites. Yes, correct.
that's fine. Okay.
Hey, Chris, can I ask a
Yes,
quick question?
of
You-
course.
You went over this earlier, but I missed it. In the customer profile, on the left-hand side, there was a filter. I can't find where you went for that.
This filter here.
Maybe click on it. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I thought it was in the individual files. It's not.
Oh,
It's
No,
on all.
yeah, it's a filter to search through all the contacts. So yeah, it's
Okay.
just in the
you.
general main CRM.
Oh, you were gonna tell us how to put people in alphabetical order. How do you do that?
Yes. So under the name, you have a double arrow.
Okay,
If you click that double arrow, it will go alphabetically. Either if you do it next to the first name, then it's by first name. Or if you want
Oh,
to search
or
by
you
last
do
name, is this
last name.
double arrow here.
okay.
And that works with any of these parameters. So if you wanted to look at like locations, you're able to do it with that and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Source. If you wanted
like
to do it by source, this is a good way to do that without doing a filter.
So does that also translate to the mobile phone app if you do it that way on the computer?
Yes. You should be able to do it on the phone. I have not
If
tried,
you
but
do it on
yes,
your
you should be able
computer,
to.
does it carry you over to the mobile app?
I would say that use the search bar. So if you want to find Frank, just type in Frank. Because if you're like me, I got 6,000 people in mine. Alphabetical order would be a long, a long list. But I think your search bar is your best way to find people.
Or if you
can
know,
search
like,
you can search by phone number, you can search by email there, you can search by a name. And so just about everything will come up on that search bar.
or if you're drawing a mind blank with their actual name or email, yeah, you can always just use the criteria under the filter as well. Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, name and email address, that will probably be your fastest. But if you just like seeing an alphabetical, you can just click the double arrows.
And I don't think, because I'm on the app right now, well, there's a filter. You can't sort alphabetically or any way on the app that I'm aware of.
Like, can you do alphabetical and sort them by like that like prospect, new lead? Can you separate them that way?
I am checking now on my side on my app.
You can search in your filter by prospecting and get the list up of all your prospects and then sort it by alphabetical order if you want.
Oh, so you probably just click on the filter.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like contacts is default set at most recently added. Then you can search by sphere or save filter. Otherwise, sorry, it looks like you cannot do it on the app alphabetically.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions or anything you
Yeah,
kind of want me to
anybody
go
got any
over?
We had a question
Covered a wide
earlier
range of
that-
topics, so I guess it can be a free-for-all with anything.
we had a question earlier about Spanish kind of materials. So we're being in Arizona, we have a lot of Spanish speaking going on. And one of our offices specifically has a lot of Spanish speaking clientele. So we actually had a question about if there's any campaign materials or just any type of pre-built materials or anything like that that are in Spanish.
Pre-built as of this moment, not yet. They are creating some customized ones, and they are looking for some in other languages. I know that the kvCORE site does have, least I've been told by Inside Real Estate that based on country that they're seen in, it does translate. But as of
Oh,
this
yeah, it
time, we
auto
do not have
translates.
we do not have any campaigns written in Spanish as of this moment, but we are
So
looking to build more.
Does that do it by country? So as in it reads their IP and then tells what country it's in, or does it do it by what they have their language set for on their PC or phone?
That's a very good question. My gut tells me it's by IP. But I am not 100% certain. That's something we can reach out to IRE, so Inside Real Estate for, and we can definitely get an answer on that one.
Okay, I can ask them. I was just,
Yeah.
I figured I'd ask you because we had that question earlier.
Yeah. So I completely forgot, but there's actually. So this is the link to the files. So I did, it's a lot of letters, but it's RMPAZ files. So it is case sensitive. So Remax Professionals Arizona files. And then the password is Professionals AZ.